Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently working on doing some Minmus exploration. And of course, we're taking rather more than we need to complete this contract, and we're hoping that more contracts pop up that we can complete in this same flight. But for now, we need to get this underway. So let's go ahead and open up the Pratihara Lander Mark 1. And this is, of course, what we are taking to Minmus, and should be absolutely fine. I just want to double-check the staging before we go here. And yeah, this all looks good. Yep, all looks great. Fantastic. Oh, I did want to double-check who we had in this before we actually launch. I don't want to have to do another rendezvous mission because Bill overslept. Let's see. We've got Jeb, Bill, and Bob. Yeah, this is actually not who I want. So I'm going to revert this back to the vehicle assembly. We want to bring Valentina to get her some XP. And I think we also want to bring Sigfel for the same reason. We can bring Bill, he's our only engineer. And we'll just have Sigfel in this slot. It doesn't actually matter, but I do like to have the pilot in the top slot. Just what I'm used to. Okay, so with the correct crew here, there is one last thing that I want to double check, and that is the cargo that we are carrying. But I believe that that is correct. I remember fixing that last episode. Let's just double check that it's good. Yeah, that looks fine, and that looks completely okay. So, let's get out of here, shall we? And off we go. Currently moving at about 100 meters per second. Let's go ahead and begin doing our turn. Get that sweet, sweet downrange yaw going. Switch over to orbital mode just for being able to see the prograde marker. Looks good. Just very, very slowly tipping over here. We're definitely moving pretty quick. And we're starting to see a little bit of aerodynamic fighting going on here. And I'm not really liking that. Okay. That definitely pulled us out of our inclination. We're going to have to change our inclination anyway for Minmus. I'm going to go ahead and have Valentina just land prograde there for now. And we'll maybe try to drag this marker down a little bit. Something along the lines of this. Ditch that stage. There we go. Check to make sure our aerodynamics are good. They appear to be completely fine. That's great. And we're way high on the apoapsis. We do not need to be this high, but that's fine. I mean, we're going to need the altitude eventually anyway, but we'll just go ahead and circularize somewhere around here. This should be just fine. We'll coast for now. We know that we need to burn this. Well, this is currently saying that it's going to be a 3-minute, 32-second burn. I think that'll update when we get into space, so we'll go ahead and start making our way over to the marker, though, which will be fine. It'll take us a while to turn there. And yeah, we now know this is going to be a 1-minute, 23-second burn, so we want to burn this at T minus 41.5 seconds. So that's just fine. We'll position here for that burn. Just going to warp forward a bit to freeze physics. Again, 41.5 seconds. So we'll warp towards that. We're not quite exactly on the marker, but that's okay. Just a little bit more on the warp, and that should be fine. Adjusting our marker heading a tiny amount, and we're burning now. Excellent. And the reason we went up so high is because I honestly wasn't paying attention to our apoapsis. That's entirely my own fault, of course. And we'll just get ourselves some horizontal velocity here. We are going to have to burn out this stage a little bit, but that's fine. We have more than enough DV to make this happen. We should probably consider powering up our first stage a little bit more. Like, not in terms of actual thrust to weight, but rather in terms of actual burn duration and DV. Thrust to weight is completely fine as is. Okay. We'll ditch that stage, and off we go. Excellent. We'll be entering orbit momentarily here. And 200 more meters per second. Technically, our time to apoapsis is currently increasing. So, it just means I burned a little early, but it's fine. Okay. And actually, we expect that anyway, because the apoapsis is going to end up over here, right? So that's fine. Just going to chase that node a little bit. Good enough. Plenty good enough. It's a little bit elliptical, but that is fine. So our target is, of course, going to be Minmus, which is our first actually inclined target here. So we're going to have to change our inclination, which was one of many reasons why I wasn't particularly concerned about our actual inclination there. So at the descending node, that will be the next node that we are at. We are going to go ahead and adjust our inclination, not that way, but rather this way. And do we get down to 0.0? Not unless we change the timing. There we go. That'll do. So that's 126 meters per second. We'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver. Excellent. And we will, of course, have to aim the correct direction. Tends to help. A 15-second burn, so we want to burn this at T minus 7.5 minutes. Okay, we'll just... Did I say minutes? 7.5 seconds. 7.5 minutes would be a crazy time to burn this. Okay, so we'll just hold here for now, and we want to burn. Wonderful. Get that sweet, sweet inclination change. And after this, I think Valentina will be skilled enough to be able to lock 2 maneuver nodes. I hope so, anyway. It's going to chase this node a tiny amount here. Good enough. 0.0. That's what we like to see. Okay, so Minmus is currently here. Minmus moves real slow. So we're probably going to want to wait in orbit and burn sometime around here-ish. I don't want to get a moon encounter. Okay. So we can see here that our burn is a little bit early. And we definitely want to burn it more like here. So that we just passed that time. That's okay. Let's go ahead and look at our final orbit here. This is pretty far out there. Let's go ahead and tweak this. Let's take it into perhaps 100 kilometers. That'll do. Excellent. That will, of course, be a pro-grade burn. 894 meters per second. And we will just go ahead and warp to that next maneuver. We'll just warp here for now. And then we'll go ahead and cancel that warp. And now we can see to warp to next maneuver. Wonderful. So around we go. And then we're going to make our way to Minmus in just a moment. So this is a 1 minute 34 second burn. So we want to burn this at T minus 30 seconds plus 17 seconds. So T minus 47 seconds. Division is hard. Okay, so we're going to aim at the maneuver node, not at the prograde node, because our timing makes this slightly different. And we'll warp forward towards 47 seconds. Okay, and we'll burn this right now. And off we go. This will be the majority of this tank, or actually about half of what's remaining of this tank, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's completely fine. We're going to have a lot of Delta V for Minmus maneuvers. Like, a truly ludicrous amount of Delta V for Minmus maneuvers. This would be potentially a viable Duna craft, I think, if we were to sort out the first stage issues. And maybe extend this second interplanetary stage here. It would be an interplanetary stage at that point. It would not be this maneuvering stage that we've got currently. So yeah, that's a potential option. We've pretty much got the tech at this point to start doing interplanetary stuff. And we will start doing that pretty soon, but we've got some work to do on Minmus and around the moon first. And that's completely fine. So we are, of course, going to finish up this burn, and that will finish up here pretty soon. Here in about another 20 seconds. It always kind of blows my mind a little bit that to travel from the moon orbit to Minmus orbit, the distance is like 20 meters per second. It's kind of insane. I guess in this case it's like 60 meters per second. But even so, it's almost nothing. Okay, let's chase that node a wee bit. We'll get on up there. Excellent. Chase that node just a tiny bit more. I want to get this bang on. What did that look like? Okay, that's not exactly bang on. We're going to be coming in a bit retrograde here, it looks like. I'm actually going to flip over to retrograde and we'll fix this. I definitely overshot a little bit. It's very easy to do at this point. These changes are extremely minute. Okay, let's just raise this up a little bit. There we go. That'll do. Wonderful. So that's a flyby of Minmus, of course. And we should go ahead and advance time to right here. That is 5 days out. And so we shall. Goodbye, Kerbin. Goodbye, Moon. Minmus is out there somewhere. Hello, Minmus. There you are. Fantastic. Okay, so there's our contract parameter complete. And we got a world first milestone there. The question is, how long do we have until our periapsis? Lots of time. We have lots and lots and lots of time. So let's hop back to the Space Center here. We got our flyby. And let's check to see if there are any additional contracts here. What do we got? Well, we've got a loading screen for right now. There we go. Let's see. Orbital station around Kerbin, polar orbit of the moon, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of useless stuff. Oh, we still need to gather scientific data from Minmus. Right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head back. And we're going to fly this. And we're just going to use a... We're just going to use a repeatable experiment for that. So we actually are not connected. We have no data. Ah, that's not going to work. Our built-in antenna is not strong enough in this, is it? That's only a 5K antenna. Okay. Well, maybe we should be satisfied with just an orbit for right now. For sure, we'll grab our crew report while in space high, and our temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan, mystery goo observation, material study. This does indicate, of course, to me that we need a better antenna on this. That's fine. We'll go ahead and have Sigfel EVA. He'll grab the EVA report, he'll let go, and he is going to hop on over here. Actually, technically, we didn't have to do it this way, but we'll collect this data, and we'll restore this, and we'll open this up. I probably should have... Okay. This is fine. We're going to move up over this way. Okay. There we go. We'll collect this data. I probably should have gathered it up here first, but it doesn't actually matter. We'll collect that data and restore the mystery goo containment unit. And then we will go ahead and close the service bay doors. And we'll head on in. Excellent. There we go. And we will go ahead and collect all that data. There we go. And we will grab the Mystery Goo observation and the material study again, while in space high. There we go, and we'll have Sigfel EVA. And he's going to let go. And make his way on over. There we go. And we'll collect this data. This time we actually did not want to collect it with the collector up there. We absolutely wanted to do it this way. So we collect this data, and of course the reason for that is because we're going to be storing that in the re-entry module. And yep, this is fine, so we'll go ahead and close this. And we'll head back in. There we go. Now, once again, we could grab this, but we don't have anywhere to store it. So we'll have to come back for this data. And for now, we're going to target in space low. So at the periapsis, we are going to enter orbit. And we'll just go ahead and enter orbit and bring that on down. I want to focus on Minmus. There we go. We'll bring this on down to be somewhere around maybe like 30k. That should be in space low. There we go. And then we can lower the apoapsis even lower if we want to go around for EVA reports, which we probably should do. The question is, do we want to land this time without a contract? That is a question. And I think it's probably okay. For now, let's go ahead and warp forward to this next maneuver, which is not exactly on the periapsis. We'll do it right there. There we go. And here we come. And of course, in space high, we are not going to be getting any additional EVA reports. And we'll want to burn retrograde for 20 seconds, so at T-minus 10 seconds. That's fine. Hello, you big ol' snowball of mint ice cream. Wonderful. This is still technically in space high. And let's do our burn right here. We have all of this equipment. We may as well land, contract or not, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, so we should be, yep, that's pretty close. Just running that down a little bit more. Good enough. Plenty good enough. Let's go ahead and take our periapsis down, or rather our apoapsis down to be the same roughly 30 kilometers. Something around here-ish will do. Yeah, that'll be fine. And we will go ahead and warp towards that. Excellent. Unfortunately, we still don't have any data. Oh, this is still in space high. Okay. I don't actually know what in space low over Minmus is then, but that does mean that we should lower this further than 30 kilometers. So we'll take it down to maybe around 15. Okay. It's been a while. So this is only going to be a 2-second burn, so we want to burn this at T-minus 1 second. We'll warp towards that. And that'll do. And at this periapsis, we probably also want to bring this down to around 15 kilometers. We want to circularize this approximately anyway. Something along the lines of that will do. Okay, so at this point, we do want to stop time warp when we enter in space low. That's still in space high over lowlands. Now we're in space low, so anything below 30 kilometers is in space low. That's perfect. We're going to grab all this data. There we go. And then we're going to have Sigfel hop on out, grab an EVA report, and then let go. And we're going to reset these again. We'll go ahead and open that service bay, collect the data. Yep. Restore, collect the data, and restore. And we're going to be hopping back out, so I'm not going to bother closing that up. Okay. And In we go. We'll collect everything that we can, which isn't everything. There we go. And then we'll grab our Mystery Goo Observation and Material Study. Perfect. And Sigfel will now EVA again. And let on go. And over we head. Let's not go up quite that fast. There we go. Much better. We'll collect the data. We'll collect the data. There we go. And collect this data as well. I really should don't show that again. I'm well aware. We'll restore both of those, and at this point, we'll close the service bay. We are now done with that in-space low information. Of course, we still need EVA reports, but we will go ahead and collect everything there that we can, which isn't like anything, period. And we're at this point going to advance time until we get into different biomes. We should definitely be parked retrograde. We'll advance at 50x for now. Slopes. We'll EVA, grab our EVA report, and hop back in. Wonderful. Lowlands. We don't need lowlands. Slopes, we do not need that. Midlands. Yes. We'll grab that. And hop back in. Anything else before we get to this burn time? Slopes, we don't care. Midlands, we don't care. Slopes, we don't care. Midlands, we don't care. Anything else? Well, there's lowlands. We don't care about that either. This is stopping rather a lot. Okay, that's slopes, and we're going to continue to head forward. Don't really care about any of these biome changes right now. I mean, we will care about them. And I mean, we kind of do care. Kind of. That's lowlands. That is, of course, slopes. Let's go ahead and position retrograde here. We're 4 minutes out from this burn. And we're not going to need much of a burn, that's for sure. A quarter second before the T marker is when we're going to want to burn this. Kind of insane. Slopes, we're going to be getting some flats here, though. Great flats. Sigfel, go ahead and EVA. There we go. And we're going to want to burn this in just a moment. So we'll go ahead and warp towards that. Okay, and we're going to want to burn this right about now. Just a very gentle burn here. That'll do the trick. That'll do the trick very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put in a marker here just behind us. That is just to mark where we were in the orbit when we started this. And we'll just make our way right on around. See if we can catch any more biomes here. There's not a lot of Minmus biomes. So it'll probably not really find anything too much, although here's some highlands. We can absolutely grab that, and we'll hop right on in. That's slopes. Yep. And we'll just accelerate our way right on around. That's flats. We will absolutely grab that. Lowlands. Hello, greater flats. Yes, please. We'll grab that. Greater flats, sure. And we'll just continue warping around here, making sure that we're getting all the biomes that we can for now. Okay. There's definitely a lot of them. A lot of these biome changes. At this point, we are entering the area that we did before, right? But Minmus does turn underneath us while we're going, so there is a slight chance that we may, emphasis on may, end up getting another biome. However, it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. And that's okay. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hello, Lesser Flats. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to go ahead and land here, whether we have a contract or not. You're You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.